Dating Intentionally is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians, these are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds, because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations. Did you know, on average, people make over 200 decisions around food per day? That's a lot, and making all those decisions every day is so exhausting, especially when you're discussing that with your partner multiple times a day, every day. Sometimes it's nice to be able to enjoy a healthy meal without having to think about it, talk about it, or do anything really. That's why I love Factor. These are fully prepared, dietitian designed meals that are ready in about 2 minutes. They're packed with lean proteins, colorful veggies, healthy fats, no refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners. They're just real food that supports your goals without requiring anything from you except pressing a button on the microwave. Right now, I am loving their lemon herb grilled chicken. It's a meal I'm always in the mood for, no matter what, and it always makes me feel good. And we're also loving their smoky Gouda mac and shredded beef. It is so nice to have Factor at the end of a long day when I just don't even want to think about anything or do anything, but I still want to eat healthy. There are over 100 rotating weekly meals, so it never gets boring. There are categories like high protein, low carb, vegetarian, fiber filled, and even a Muscle Pro collection if you're focused on strength and recovery. Whatever you're focusing on, whatever your goals you're working towards with your health, there's something for you at Factor. Head to factormeals.com/DI50off and use code DI50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. That's factormeals.com/DI50off with code DI50off. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan, one free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active. What if one of the reasons your love life feels exhausting doesn't have to do with the apps or the dating pool or the flakiness or the timing, and everything to do with where you're looking for safety? Most of us are looking for it in the wrong place, and today we're going to talk about how to find it in the right one. Welcome back to Dating Intentionally. I'm Talia. I'm sharing no-nonsense advice for navigating dating and relationships with confidence and ease, whether you've been dating for a while or you're just starting out. I believe dating can be fun. And it's even more fun when you've built up a lot of safety and security within yourself. Let me know if you relate to the situation. The other day, a woman reached out to me on Instagram, DMing me in a frenzy. She said she had been on 3 dates with a guy, everything seemed great, but she hadn't heard from him in 4 days and she couldn't stop thinking about it and she did not know what to do. This was over a few messages describing the situation, and I could really feel the urgency. Does that situation sound familiar? And here's the thing, you could be the most secure person on the planet, and that would still irk you a little bit, but your reaction is going to be different if you feel secure and safe on the inside. The desire to do something outside of you, in this case, this person I was DMing with, she was trying to soothe herself by getting my advice on what actions to take. And look, the desire to do something outside of you, to make your anxiety go away and feel more in control, isn't bad or wrong, it's just human. But imagine if you got to experience fewer ups and downs day to day in early dating. What would it feel like to experience these situations without it taking you out of your day or knocking your self-confidence every time? That's why today I want to talk about building security within yourself. This is one of the most important things to work on, no matter your age, gender, whether you're single or in a relationship. It's a game changer. And look, while I know listening to one podcast episode won't magically turn you into someone with a lot of self-security and inner safety, I wanted to talk about this to, one, show you what you can be working on no matter what season of life you're in, and two, show you the path you can take and some things you can try to work toward being your own secure base. So first, I'm going to talk about what self-security is, signs you might need to work on this more, and steps you can take today to create more inner safety that will make all your relationships feel more stable. And as always, I'll get into a dating dilemma at the end. And don't forget that I love hearing from you. Tell me your thoughts, your feedback, your questions in a comment below if you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram at dating.intentionally. I read all your messages and respond to as many as I can. Even if we've never chatted before, I just know I am so happy that you're here. Okay, what is self-security? This means having a secure relationship with yourself. So my question to you is, do you think you have one? Do you think you have a secure relationship with yourself? Here's what that might look like, okay? One is not judging yourself. When you make mistakes, when you have strong emotions, you meet yourself with kindness and compassion. What does your inner voice say when you mess up or when you're feeling something that you don't want to be feeling? What does the voice in your head say to you? Is this voice kind, or is it basically saying, you shouldn't feel that way? Why would you feel that way? Stop being like this. Which one do you think is more safe? It also means being able to forgive yourself and accept yourself, and again, meeting yourself with compassion instead of judgment. This is so key to building safety within yourself. You can't feel safe in your brain if every move you make, there's that voice in your head being like, why would you do that? Or that was a mistake. You shouldn't have done that. How can you possibly feel safe with that inner narrative? If that's your inner narrative in a relationship, it's going to be so hard to feel safe with another person, because when you see yourself through their eyes, you pretty much just see the negative stuff. That's how low self-esteem sabotages relationships, by the way. You doubt their interest in you because you don't like yourself. When we have high self-esteem and security in ourselves, we can see ourselves through the other person's eyes and say, of course they like me. Look at all these amazing qualities that I have. But you can't get there if you judge yourself a lot. And this leads me to the second thing on my list when it comes to building self-security, and that is focusing on what you like about yourself. I'm not saying you need to love yourself and think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but you do want to work toward liking certain qualities and regularly practicing highlighting those when you have your inner monologue going. You can still have the things you don't like about yourself, okay? That we're not trying to get rid of them necessarily, at least not at first. What we want to focus on is adding things that you do like about yourself, and it will start to balance out. So don't worry about necessarily getting rid of the negative voice. We want to just focus on adding the positive one. Something that has worked for me is that every time I think something negative about myself and I actually notice it, because I don't always notice it, I have to say something positive too. That is a deal I have with myself. It's really hard to build security within yourself if your mind is a negative place to be. So if you find that negativity towards yourself is very loud, work towards balancing it out with thinking about what you do well and what you like about yourself. The third thing on my list is creating physical safety in your body. So the research on attachment theory, which we've heard all about on this show, actually shows that when you don't feel secure about yourself, your nervous system treats relationship uncertainty like a literal threat, like you are physically being threatened by something. And that's why one unanswered text can tank your whole afternoon. Your body is wired to respond to it like danger, like real danger. Building inner security is partly about retraining that response so that your body knows that there's no physical threat when you don't get a text back. Creating physical safety in your body looks like doing the breathing exercises we've all heard about at this point. It means doing whatever you can to physically calm down. When you start to do that enough times over and over, you'll start to feel so much safer in moments of anxiety because you know that creating physical safety is something that's accessible to you. And this one is really powerful, so don't sleep on it. Like what you do in your body really affects what's happening in your mind, right? We know this connection is a thing. We've heard it a million times. The fourth thing on my list is not reaching out to friends the second something goes wrong. I've been guilty of this, and I can remember a few distinct moments from when I was single where I would normally text my mom or my best friend, and I in that moment decided to not do that. Thinking more about them and how they would be receiving that stressful energy from me, and realizing that I actually had the strength and the skills to handle on my own in the heat of the moment and ground myself. That was such a powerful shift for me. Just really taking a moment being like, wait, do I have to text my best friend about this thing that's coming up for me right now? Or can I just actually sit with this discomfort myself and turn inward and handle it myself. And the more I did that, the easier it was. It truly felt like a muscle being built in that moment. Being secure within yourself means that you're okay asking for help when you need it. Of course, I'm not saying don't ever go to your friends when you need support, but you can also navigate moments of stress alone because you have the resources internally to get through it. You can create physical safety, you can direct your thoughts to a more neutral or positive place, and you can regulate your emotions on your own. That is so powerful. And as an adult, I think it's just so important to do this because you might not have access to your support people at all times. You need to be able to regulate your emotions. You need to be able to be there for yourself sometimes. Okay, number 5 is obvious but important, and that is taking small risks and doing stuff to build self-trust. Confidence is built on action. Okay, it means this could look like being a little bit vulnerable in your dating life, right? Just a little bit, communicating a little more when it feels scary, showing interest when you're interested, which is very vulnerable. It could be asking for someone's number or giving someone a compliment when you normally hold back. These all feel like little tiny risks, and the more you do them, the easier they get and the more confidence you will build. Even if it's something small, like saying hi to a stranger when you pass them on the street, even that is just another step towards building self-trust that is key to being secure and safe within yourself. When you do this, you're showing yourself and your brain that you are capable and you can do scary things. It's just one small step at a time. And there is so much security in the knowledge that you can handle the hard, scary things. The 6th one on my list is, I think, the most important when it comes to building self-security, and that is alignment. I could probably talk about this forever, but I think all this advice that I'm giving right now is wrapped up in alignment. So alignment is aligning your actions with your values and desires. So values work is a great place to start if you are not sure where to start. There are so many books, journals, podcasts, YouTube videos, and anything really, Instagram content about discovering your own personal values. These are going to be the things that you really care about in life. When you know your values to a T, it makes it easier for you to stand on business and feel grounded in who you are. What you value becomes your compass for your entire life, your decisions, your actions, who you choose to spend your time with, and what you choose to spend your energy on. That all comes back to what you value. And when you're not in alignment, you feel that. You can feel that in burnout. You can feel that in friction and procrastination, in feeling depressed. Like that comes through. For example, if you truly, truly value direct communication, that means that you're never going to ghost someone. If you truly value presence, that means you're putting your phone away when you're with your friends. If you say you value family, how are you showing up for yours? What does valuing family actually look like and mean to you? So that's one part of alignment, is your values. The other part is your desires. It means knowing what you want and owning it. A lot of people have not done this work and it shows. And that work is zooming out, getting a nice eagle eye view on your life and thinking about what you truly want for every part of your life. Values are what you care about. This is more about what you want for yourself and what you're striving for every day. And in dating, owning it looks like if you want a relationship, that means you're aligning your actions with what you desire and you're not giving people who don't want a relationship any of your time or energy. And that, my friends, is the core of dating intentionally. But it's hard to do when you're wishy-washy on what you want, and that can create a lot of instability in yourself, right? It's hard to make decisions when you're not really grounded in the roots of what you actually want and aligning your actions with that. This helps you build self-security because it's easier to make decisions, and being decisive is amazing for your self-worth. My mom once told me something that her coach told her, which is that either you make a choice or the universe decides for you. Do you want to let the universe decide your life for you, or do you want to make the decisions? Do you want to call the shots? You tell me. And another reason this creates safety in yourself is that you can always come back to this, right? This is like, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm acting in alignment with what I value right now. What do I value again? Oh yeah, these are the things I care about. Maybe it's better if I go in this direction towards the things that I value. And it's like, yeah, I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I care about. Think of it as like the soil of your roots, right? You're rooted in that. It is a rich, nurturing soil for your roots, right? That's kind of how I think about it. All right, the last one on my list here for building self-security and what that means is knowing your triggers and understanding it's your responsibility to heal them. I know, kind of tough, right? But here's the truth. The love of your life will probably trigger the shit out of you at some point, and it's not their fault. They're not doing it on purpose. It's your job to understand your triggers, that they're not hurting you intentionally, and that these are just coming up from old wounds that you have to heal. That is your responsibility. And yes, a lot of that work is done in healthy, secure relationships, and a lot of it's done on your own. It's a bit of both. Self security is being able to say in a conflict with someone, hey, I'm having a lot of emotions come up right now. I feel hurt, which I know is not your intention. And I need to take a breather before we continue talking about this. That is what it looks like to understand your triggers, to realize what triggers mean, right? What it means is they're touching a nerve, they're touching a soft spot in your heart that they did not put there, right? But it's still your responsibility. Let them know when they've done that and realize that that pain isn't 100% their fault. That pain is from your past, right? But you're dealing with it in your present, which is annoying, but that's how it goes with relationships. And honestly, this kind of work, knowing your triggers, understanding them, taking responsibility for them, there's a lot of security in that because this is something in your control. No, you can't control when, your partner will say something that will trigger you, but you can control your understanding of it and how you react. And that is so important in having healthy long-term relationships. So to recap, having security in yourself means that you meet yourself with compassion, not judgment. You mentally treat yourself with kindness and physically soothe in tough moments without outsourcing security to your friends. You're okay with small risks. You're in alignment with what you value and want, and you take responsibility for your triggers, even though your caregivers and past partners probably put them there. Again, the point of all this is to help you fare the rocky seas of dating. When things are rough and you can't see the horizon and there's a storm blowing through, you can get through it without panicking or experiencing a lot of drama because you know yourself and you can get through anything. All right, let's take a break and we'll get into some more about building self-security and steps you can actually take to do this. For years, Johnny and I have been unwinding together every day by curling up on the couch to watch Star Trek. He's got his small pour of bourbon, he makes sure my water bottle is full, and we share our favorite chocolate. But sometimes I want something fun to drink that isn't alcohol, and I'm so glad that I have Peak's new delicious aperitif, Vesper, as an option. Vesper was created as a better evening ritual. It's a non-alcoholic, adaptogenic aperitif designed to help you relax without compromising your health or dealing with disrupted sleep. And it's not just that Vesper tastes great. Ingredients like L-theanine, tart cherry, lemon balm, and elderflower work together to calm your body and your mind. While enjoying Vesper during our unwinding time, I can feel myself relaxing more, which is something that I really need help with. I've tried a ton of non-alcoholic drinks over the last few years, and I truly love the taste of Vesper. It's got sour cherry and grapefruit and feels so refreshing to drink, and I love that it's not overly sweet. Just pour it over a glass of ice and sparkling water and enjoy. Commit to intentional unwinding. Unlock 10% off for life and establish a healthier relationship with your evenings at peaklife.com/dating. That's PIQUE life.com/dating. You probably know that I'm not a huge fan of dating rules, but I do have house rules, and one of them is no big light. I will do anything to avoid turning on the overhead light. It's either going to be natural light, candlelight, or warm lamplight on always. And I know I'm not the only one. So when I finally decided to do something about the lighting in our dining room, I went to Wayfair. I got a lamp and a new rug, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it completely transformed the space. The lamp is so much better than the big light, and I don't know why, but the rug under the dining table makes me feel more like an adult. There's just something about having the right furniture that makes you feel like you have your life together sometimes. What I love about shopping Wayfair is how easy it is to find exactly what fits your style and budget. They have quality pieces for home offices, bedrooms, kids' rooms, just literally any room you have that you're looking to refresh. And the filters, the reviews, the photos from real customers take the guesswork out of buying things for your home online. I love that every time I order from Wayfair, the pieces arrive quickly. Also, my lamp was incredibly easy to put together, which I was not expecting. Whether you're doing a full spring refresh, hunting for the perfect accent piece, or just trying to make one room feel more like you, Wayfair makes it simple. Find furniture, decor, and essentials that fit your unique style and budget. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com, Wayfair. Every style, every home. All right, welcome back. So, jumping back in here, I just want to say sometimes your security will take a hit. Maybe you get ghosted after dating someone for 5 months and you start to feel like it was your fault and you don't trust yourself moving forward in your dating life. Those moments can be really tough. But the more you work on this, the less one bad dating mishap or not great decision will throw you off. And just to share my personal experience with this, when I left my last relationship and started dating again, I actually had a newfound sense of security because I made a promise to myself that I was not going to get caught up in the anxious avoidant cycle ever again. And that gave me a lot of security. I don't know if this is nature or nurture or just how I am after working for myself for 10 years, but I have a lot of self trust, which has helped me build inner safety. But it wasn't always like that for me. Growing up, I learned to outsource safety. Safety for me meant if my caregivers were in a good mood, I am safe. It was all external. And in adulthood, that turned into people pleasing, minimizing my needs, not making any requests to my partner to try to be easier to love, not wanting to rock the boat, putting up walls, you name it. I did it. If you grew up in a household where safety depended on someone else's mood, there's a good chance you're still doing that today, just with the people you're dating. So here are some other signs that you might need to work on this. If you're dating someone or you're talking to someone and you're sending the same screenshot of your text to 5 different friends to analyze it, that's a sign you might need to work on some inner safety here. And again, I'm not saying you can't reach out to your friends for help. You can, you're allowed to phone a friend and get someone in there, but ultimately, this is your dating life. You need to be the one to call the shots. When you're acting in alignment with your values and desires, you don't need your friends really to weigh in on things because their values and desires don't matter and they don't know yours as well as you do. So that is one sign you have some work to do on this, on building self-security. Another sign is that maybe you're getting to the 1, 2, or 3 month point in a relationship, but you're constantly expecting the other shoe to drop and you're looking for signs that they're going to leave. It's impossible to feel safe when you're waiting for something to show up that will cause the relationship to end. This is a sign that you need to go inward and recognize that you are projecting what you fear onto the relationship, and that itself will cause problems that you don't want. I've said this before, but it's like that analogy of like if you're looking at the wall and you're driving a car, it's like you're going to crash into the wall. You go where your eyes go. So if you are focused, your mind is focused on what could go wrong, you will perpetuate that. What you can do instead is go inward, figure out how to build safety within yourself using the tips that I'm going to share, and focus on everything that is working in the relationship. And the other sign that I think is super common is that believing just because you got ghosted last time or something bad happened in your last relationship, which again, valid, that sucks, but you believe that the next person will do that. And you are, again, looking for signs, or you're just really focused on, is that next person going to hurt me the same way I was hurt in the past? While that could happen, that thought isn't helpful. And the reframe here is maybe that will happen again, maybe not, but either way, I'll be fine. That's how someone with inner safety treats that situation. You can't control the outcome. You can't control the other person, but no matter what happens, no matter how it plays out, you're going to be okay. So why is this important? Why are we even talking about this today? And it's funny because I was actually going to slot in a throwback episode for this week, but this topic came up and I was fired up about it because when I notice over and over with people I talk to in my DMs, my clients, that when they don't get a text back, when the person isn't showing interest in the way that they want them to, or when they're not sure where they stand with someone or anything like that, I'm noticing the heightened emotions, the high highs, the low lows, the roller coaster, like up and down with lots of throttle and whiplash, and it's hard on your body. And I'm just thinking, if you had more safety and security built up in yourself, it would be less like a roller coaster and more just like a gentle, lazy river vibe where you're like, I got this. This is fine. I've been here before. I'm okay. I don't need this person to like me. I don't need this to work out. That's why this is so important, because dating is more fun when you have more security and resilience. The things that happen that are all of these bad things might happen to you, but when you have the safety and security, they won't make you take your eye off the ball. They won't throw you into a spiral thinking that there's no one out there and you're doomed and you'll be alone forever. And okay, maybe you'll still spiral, but thanks to the inner safety you've built, you know that's just your anxiety and your brain doing its thing, and that those thoughts aren't facts, those feelings aren't facts, but it's okay to have them and they just come and go, right? You just are able to ride those waves without the panic and the drama that sends your nervous system into a frenzy. And overall, it's going to be hard for you to keep going in your dating journey, to go the distance, to keep meeting people and doing this until you find that relationship without this inner safety. And when you do get into the relationship that you dream of, the inner safety that you've worked on while you're single will make navigating that relationship so much easier. Trust me. So how do you actually start doing this? Here are some tips you can try. The first tip is sit with discomfort before doing whatever you normally do. Learn to just be like, I'm okay. I feel uncomfortable, but I'm okay. Before you shoot off that text, before you jump to the whatever conclusion you're jumping to, be like, you know what? Let me just let this emotion pass through me before I make any snap judgments on the situation or do anything drastic. And that also is slowing down. That's a must. There's not one skill in dating that doesn't benefit from learning how to slow down, take a beat, listen to yourself. Like, we talk about going slow so much, and here it is again. Slow down. Your mind might race, your heart might race, but you can be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit in this for a second and just let the energy pass through me and just slow down, take a beat, and decide what to do. The third one is recognize your gut reaction. Here's the thing. You feeling the urge to block and delete someone that you have a first date planned with and they haven't texted you all week is not holding a standard or setting boundaries. That is a reaction from your activated nervous system that's screaming danger, even though it's totally fine to not text a lot before a first date, and you know that. The secure thing to do would be confirming the date 24 hours before and moving on instead of spiraling over whether or not they're actually interested and communicative before you've even met. So the other tip is being decisive. If something is bothering you, find the words to gently and appropriately call it out. There are tons of scripts on my Instagram account that you can use for free. I also have my free dating troubleshooting guide, which I'll link below, and you can look through this whole list of what to do and say in any dating situation that'll come up. But of course, I really want you to learn how to trust yourself instead of hemming and hawing for hours over a text. You can just start to ask yourself, what is my desired outcome, right? Going back to my desires. What are the actions that I need to take to get that desired outcome? Sometimes the answer is no action, unfortunately. And sometimes the answer is just sending the damn text. Another tip is recognizing your patterns. And this is where tracking and journaling is so helpful. If you want to build some security, start learning about yourself and reviewing your actions, not the other person's, but your actions with curiosity, not judgment, but just like, what am I actually doing, right? Sometimes we're not aware of this until we actually write it down. Ask yourself, were these actions in alignment with what I want, with my values, with my standards and boundaries? This is how you start to build more security, by focusing on what you can control on your side of the street. You know what won't make you feel more in control? Focusing on their wants, making assumptions about them, which is usually what your anxiety wants you to do, because your anxiety wants action and answers. But the stronger your self-security muscles are, the more you can be okay in the discomfort of not knowing everything. But it starts with not doing what you normally do if you let anxiety run the show. So those are some tips you can try right now. I know none of them are sexy, none of them are fun, but they're effective. Before we get into our dating dilemma, I just want to leave you with what changes when you build inner security. Conflict gets less scary. Super important. The unknown becomes easier to deal with. You'll feel less pressure and more peace. You'll also feel more confident, and it's easier to sit in discomfort, which is necessary. It's a necessary skill in dating and in life. No one teaches us this stuff. So that's why we're here learning together. And look, one thing I love about dating is that it gives us so many opportunities to build inner security. And every time you feel yourself falling back into old patterns, or spiraling, you have a chance to build this muscle. Think about that. Think about how many text exchanges and interactions you have on a date and reflection after a date that you have to work on building safety with yourself. Dating is an amazing way to work on your relationship with yourself. And all of this practice helps us become incredible partners when you do get into that relationship you want. A relationship can only be as strong as each individual's relationship and understanding of themselves. So you can do your part now and work on yours. And my goal for you, by the way, is to not always need this podcast. I want you to be able to trust your own inner wisdom and to make your own decisions. So I really want you to get there, even if it means you don't need to listen to this anymore. All right. And with that, let's take a break and get into our dating dilemma. When you're on a date, you need to be focusing on, do I like them? Do I enjoy talking to them? Which is hard to do if you're not feeling comfy in what you're wearing, especially if your underwear is bugging you. The worst is when you're on a date and you sit down and you realize you picked the wrong underwear. And trust me, I have been there. And I want to tell you about MeUndies. The difference is so noticeable. Everything I have from MeUndies, from the bralettes to the underwear, are breathable and stretchy and so comfy. There's no adjusting, no irritation, just all day comfort. And they have all these new spring prints that are adorable. And maybe your date will see them later, maybe they won't. Either way, you feel good in them, and that's what matters. Honestly, I love them so much that I look forward to laundry day just to get them back in my rotation, and make of that what you will. MeUndies has styles for everyone, from classic basics to fun seasonal prints, and sizes from extra small to 4XL, so you get a flattering fit no matter what. Their ultra modal fabric is softer than soft. It's perfect for all day wear, whether you're working from home or out and about. There's a reason why MeUndies has sold over 30 million pairs and has 90,000 five-star reviews. Right now, as a listener of my show, you can get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/dating, promo code dating. That's 20% off plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/dating, promo code dating. As you probably know by now, finding the right match in your love life is a challenge, but finding the right outfits to match your vibe has never been easier thanks to Quince. One of my favorite purchases from Quince that I use literally every day are their suede clog mules. I wear them when I take my dog Coconut out for her morning walk, and they're so comfy and durable. I've had them for over a year now, and they're still one of my go-to Quince items. And all of Quince's products are made from premium fabrics like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and cashmere at affordable prices. The best part? Quince works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen. You're not paying for brand markup or fancy retail stores, just quality clothing. Right now, go to quince.com/Talia for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to wear it and love it. And you will. Now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to quince.com/Talia for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Talia. Okay, welcome back. So excited to get into this dating dilemma. By the way, you can submit yours in the show notes below. There's a link that says ask a question on the podcast. They're anonymous, and I really appreciate everyone who has submitted a dating dilemma. We have over 1,000 now. So thank you so much. Here we go. I, 32 female, have been officially dating someone, 32 male, for almost 4 months. It was great in the beginning, and he showed lots of consistency, presence, and effort. However, work has gotten super busy for him, and his consistent communication has dropped off, so we see each other only about once a week now. He expects work to stay this busy until the summer. We align on big things, and we have fun when we see each other. But because we see each other so rarely, though, I don't want to bring up my concerns, so we can just enjoy our time together. I just feel like we can't really build a relationship this way. Is the relationship doomed, or is there a way to work through this? Thank you so much for sharing this. I totally get this, and we have to call out a people-pleasing behavior here. You have an issue that you want to bring up, and because of your limited time together, you don't want to spend it getting into this issue, and you don't want to rock the boat. So that is something we definitely want to reframe. Because one, what if the conversation you bring up actually goes well? Two, what if it brings you closer? And three, what if he says, I totally understand, we can work on this? That would be the best case scenario. I would say your relationship is more likely to be doomed if you can't bring it up. You can't be in a successful, healthy relationship if you're too scared to bring up the things that bother you. I know this is advice you probably don't want to hear, but this is a great opportunity to see how you two handle something difficult together. Don't rob yourself of that by trying to keep the peace. Next time you see each other, here's what you can say. You can be like, there's something that's been on my mind that I want to talk to you about. And then that sets a tone for like, hey, this is a more serious conversation. Then say something like, I know you've been working so hard and I love how dedicated you are to what you do, but lately I've been feeling sad or whatever emotion you have because we aren't spending as much time together as we used to. And I love being with you. I'd like to talk about what we can do about this. But even if there isn't a great solution, I just want to share what I've been feeling with you. Sometimes sharing your feelings and letting someone in on what you've been experiencing is actually more than halfway to solving this. Because how else would he know that you've been feeling this way? And this is something that you could actually connect on. Then once you say all that, stop talking and let him respond. See what he says. You might come up with a solution. You might not. This might not be something in your control right now, but the point is that you're navigating it together as a couple and that he's aware of what you're going through. Maybe he feels the same way. Use this moment as an opportunity for connection. And I think when you frame it as, I just want to share what I've been feeling, the other person is less likely to feel pressured or stressed by a request for more time if they know they're already strapped for time. And if he's dismissive, if he doesn't care, if he doesn't want to talk about it, that is a huge red flag. Either way, you're not going to know how he'll handle this if you don't speak up. I know it's scary, but like I said, you holding back is stopping your relationship from improving. You got to do it. So I hope this helps. And thanks again for submitting. And thank you so much for listening. Thanks for trusting me. Don't forget, you're doing great. If you know someone who is navigating dating and could use a confidence boost or fresh perspective, share this episode. And if this podcast has helped you, a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify goes a long way. Once again, I'm Talia. This is Dating Intentionally, and I'll catch you next time.